Hello there, my glove friends. Hi, this is the place for you. If you are looking to learn more about your self-empowerment, self-care, personal development, taking a growth journey that can sometimes be filled with growing pains. Hello there. Hi, my name is Natasha and I am so honored and privileged to be here today with you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hello. Today's subject is all about the facts of life. Any of you out there ever watch that show, Facts of Life? Like, raise your hands. Hey, are you thinking about Blair right now or Tootie? Hi, I'm throwing it back to you. If you have never watched, I don't know if this is one of those shows that maybe you'd have to just pop on a YouTube or something, but it was literally one of my favorite shows. Like, there were parts of me when I was a kid that I was like, hi, please, can I go to a boarding care? Like, hi, can I go to, what is this, a boarding school? Like, I loved that show. Like, it just had so much girl power and energy. And my life growing up with just a dad and a brother, not just, like, I'm grateful for that, but like growing up with my dad and my brother predominantly, there was not a lot of girl like energy going on there. So I really loved the Facts of Life. Today's been one of those days again, people. This week has been filled with them. As I've told you, it's been a topsy-turvy one. But number one, I'd like to recognize many of these adversities, even if it was just one of them, would have previously crippled me. My blood pressure would not have been in the 117/80 range. Let me tell you this. I would have been reaching for more than just Post Malone cookies. I would have eaten everything out of this house and home. I would have been crying. I would have been doing all those things, which are fine. They're okay. Nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with it. But it has just shown myself, my evolution, my, confidence, my resilience to get through even the most difficult of challenges. So let me tell you, people, it has been a day and a half within this half of a day. So first off, like, it has been up and down. And the beauty of the downs has been like, I have been able to see the good or see that there is good. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, yes, no matter what. And in it all, I had a therapy session today. It was planned. It wasn't as a result of anything. But my therapist reminded me of something, and it literally gave me chills, so I can't even take credit for it. She absolutely does deserve the credit in this resolution. She was like, you know what? No matter what has happened to you, like, there has always been favor. So she's a super religious woman, so she'll use that word, like favor or whatever, something like that. So, but like, and it made me realize that, yes, no matter what adversity has happened to me or my loved ones that have been like around me, there has been this like favor. There has been this like, yes, but it aligned me with exactly the right people to help me get through whatever that adversity or that difficulty was. So I go to get in my car again this morning, and let me tell you, the car is sounding like it is ready to take off to Jupiter. Like, no joke, it is so freaking loud that I'm like, I'm just trying to like turn the music over it. Like, I don't hear this. Like, everything is fine. Like, it's good. Like, my dashboard isn't showing any lights, but my gut is like, like, I'm feeling a little bit nervous to even drive it. And my son gets in the car and he's like, is this car good? And I was like, dang it, it is as loud as I think it is. And I was like, quite honestly, buddy, I don't think so. So I'm thinking the whole way to school, and we get to school, I drop him off, and I immediately call, and I'm like, look, I just dropped $4,000 on my credit card fixing this car. I was abundantly clear. Like, my car has 200,000 miles. My car doesn't, like, seats don't move. There are rips in the seats. Like, it is Bertha. I love her. She's dependable. But Bertha's getting old. Bertha is 205,000, I think, miles old now. She has been a staple in this family. She has been reliable. She has gotten us from places safely. And even when somebody plowed into my car, I was still able, we all survived. I was injured. They were all fine. For the most part, mentally, it had a toll. I think it's part of why my kids do not drive. It was pretty traumatic for them to be in an accident. And number two, I think seeing that their mom was injured, because like at that time I still was so much the center of their universes. So to say all this to say, and just recently, you know, Bertha was part of like saving my life. Like I did not get hit by that car. So I'm still here. So like, I'm super grateful for my little Bertha over there. So I take it in and they were like, I can't get a ride today. And they're like, oh, well, we'll bring you home. I'm like, sweet. So I come driving up and they can hear it. So they put it in and everything. And just by luck would have it, you know, I'm chatting with this young lady driving me. We're talking about school. We're not talking about the car, you know, none of that kind of business. Like, you know, and I was like, oh, are you still in school? You got any big plans for the weekend? You know, just chatting with her. Well, it turns out as soon as she drives into the driveway, she divulges she's like the daughter of the owner. And I was like, oh my gosh, wow, like that's so cool. And you know, like encouraging her to like keep working. It's a great opportunity, you know, and all these things like that. So looks great on a resume, the longevity, anyways, blah, 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 blah. So not too much longer later, I get a call. Hi, you know, it's this. And he's like, we got 2 major leaks. And I was like, I have to interrupt you here. Like, and he's like, then they're very costly. I was like, I was very clear when I came in. I was abundantly cleared and asked multiple times for reassurances. These are the only 2 leaks. The oil change place that I go to has indicated there is a leak at the oil pan and there is a leak at the rear transfer differentials, the rear differentials. No, they're fine. Those are fine. You just have these 2 leaks and that's it. And I was like, but they're very clear on this. So I just want to make sure. And I'm trusting this mechanic more than this oil changer place. And no, it's fine. Oh, but you have the safety issue. So we had to fix the safety issue. And oh, wait, your water pump is going out. We got to fix that too. Yada, yada, yada. So we get it all fixed. I'm out there and I'm like, are you sure? We sure? Because listen, here's the thing. She's 200 and something thousand miles. I don't want to get a new car, but I'm also not, my car is only worth like $2,000 or $3,000. Like it's not worth, you know, that much to put into. But at the time, I you know, as I said on here, I was going through so much. The idea of having to figure out what kind of car and do all these things and understand finances was just wasn't in my cards. But that would have been a fat down payment on a car, right? So I come home after that, it's still like pulling, my alignment is off. I have to bring it back 2 times and I'm like, and it's still leaking on the driveway and yeah, no problem. So now I bring it back that time. They're like, oh, well, there might be more leaks and just bring it back for the oil change. I'm like, no, that was the whole point, was I was coming in here for an oil leak and I wanted the oil leak fixed. And I understood that it could be a thing because I've replaced the 2 problems that they're talking about multiple times. And so I'm aware of how expensive it is and that the engine needs to come out and all these things like that to get to this little stinking rubber seal that's leaking. I get it. I'm aware. And that's why I wanted that full disclosure and that honesty from the get-go so I can make an informed, educated decision before I just forked over $4,000 on a car that needs another $3,000 worth of repairs. $3,400 to be precise in repairs. So I let him know that, and he was like, yeah, I totally understand, ma'am. I was like, well, are you the manager or the owner? And he was like, no, but I'll get you it. So the guy comes on, is super nice. Like, you know, he was, you know, talking about everything and all this stuff. So he and the owner are going to talk later. And so that gave me some relief. They're going to get the car back to me so I can at least have the car. So they're going to lock my keys up in there. And, you know, we'll go from there. But so that was a good and bad. Like the nice thing is like, hey, let's see if there's something I could do to work with you. Like, I get it. You just dropped a lot of money in this car. So that was that. And, you know, I'm calling around. I need to get insurance and I cannot, like nobody wants to insure in California. So again, a little bit of a challenge. I literally still am having some sciatica flare, like some positions I sit in and I'm like, oh my gosh, like sleeping in my own bed again last night, terrible, like a broken, horrible sleep. And, you know, when I slept in Chris's, I definitely slept like a lot more comfortably. Let's say that. There was something else that had a couple other things that had went a little bit of awry in the day. Can't remember right now. But then there was this moment where I sat here to work, and it is really warm out today. It's like the first time, like, I've been cold for the last few days. And yesterday was a little bit warm, but today was like my window is open and it is warm. Like, borderline, like, I bet you my phone is going to shut off at some point because it's going to say overheating, hot, whatever. Like, it is warm and it's just a beautiful day. So I just sat here and felt the sun and listened to the birds because I could feel myself starting to feel a little anxious about everything that's happening. Oh, good news. I'm not being scammed, because then I thought about it. I was like, I'm going to call the club, and they checked out the membership based on his first name and the number and confirmed he is a member. He is a member the way it is. So check off not being scammed. It is a Friday, you know, and I asked Chris, I said, you know, he's feeling a little bit under the weather, but not like majorly, just a little. And, you know, I said, would, you know, like, you want to go on a date this weekend? He's like, sure. Like, what do you want to do, or where do you want to go? I'm like, I'm not sure, but like, it doesn't have to be big or massive. Just I want to go out on a date. And so I got a date coming up this weekend. That's exciting. For me, not sure what to do. I don't know if I'm planning it, he's planning it, we're planning it, but I'm like, honestly, just want a date. And then that sounds perfect for me. And so I go to the bathroom, and it was just so interesting. All of a sudden I sit down in the toilet, TMI, yes. And I look up, and on the shower wall, I've never seen this. I've lived here for 20 plus years. And there was this spectrum of a rainbow about this big. And I just smiled. Like, I literally took it as the biggest sign. Just recently, you know, my favorite patisserie, some little poo-poo head in there, decided to go onto all forms of social media. We all make mistakes. Like, we are, you know, how many times have we gone? And there was like a hair in his food. Now, who knows if it was his, if it really was, you know, by them, whatever. They take absolute measures. They take it seriously. Not only did they refund what that item was, they refunded the entire family's order of all pastries that they had ordered, totally like apologized and everything. And still after that, he went on to social media and publicly bashed them. It definitely backfired, because so many people were like, give me your address, I'm coming. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, that happens. There's a certain amount you can even have within a threshold of, you know, blah, 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 blah. Like, so it ended up backfiring. But one of the sweetest parts that came out of it was her husband went on there, because I'm also friends with them privately, right? So on her thing, and was like, because she was just devastated. She's crying. She's worked so hard. The whole family gives everything they got to this business. It's about to be Valentine's Day. They're working extra hard to make it special for their things. Like I said, they made this gorgeous heart-shaped cake, and they gifted it to me. My God, it was lovely and tasted amazing. And he said something in there, and it has really stuck with me these last few days. And he was like, said a lot of nice things to me. He's like, babe, remember that in order to see a rainbow, we must stand a little bit of rain. And so, or be able to stand in the shelter of the storm. And that's kind of like, I sat down there and I saw this rainbow, and it was just a reflection, and it was a thing on there, but that came to my mind. And that was like twice in this last week that it came to my mind. And it just felt so true. Like, I'm in the middle of a storm. It's a financial storm. My rent is going up $400 a month. You know, Chris is feeling upset. We don't want to rush anything based on finances. Like, he feels bad and responsible for the position I'm in. I now am adding on, the additional cost of going to the gym. And of course, I have this option to be like, I cannot go to this gym. I can go to a different gym. I can cut the gym altogether. And the old me would have totally raised her hand in self-sacrifice. Would have been like, that's it. You know, everybody keep your status quo. I'm going to sacrifice. But what I realize now is this is my self-care. Self-care is so important that without this self-care, my tank is going to deplete rapidly until I am a shell of nothing again. And I know it's just a gym, and it's not just a gym to me though. It is a community. It is the people that I can lean on, and whether they can actually do anything beyond lending an ear or help or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's a source of energy that I get to enjoy and I get to share. It is a beautiful place for me. It is sacred. It is my own. It is not something that the mother or the wife or the girlfriend at this point, since we're dating, right? No, but the wife and the daughter and the sister and all. It's just me there. It's just me. It's just me. And then I can choose to talk about what's going on in my life, or choose to not, or choose to listen, or to other people's. Like, it's all into me, what I do and how I show up there. So, I calculated it out. It's like less than $5 a class. Like, and I'm worth that. I can spend that on me unapologetically. And so I'm really proud of not being the first to be like, I'll just go, I won't do it, I'll self-sacrifice, and then resent my other people for my choices, because they get to live and do the things that they want to do. So, again, it's this just crazy concoction of life. And I was reminded of the theme song. I was sitting here, I wrote Chris out a text because like his job went a little bit longer. I'm like, but I'm really grateful. So it was just this reminder that, like, yes, your job might be going longer, but I'm so glad you have jobs, because I remember, when there was a phase and you didn't, how upsetting it was. So yes, it's not going as planned, but at least you have work. And actually, the longer you're at a job, the more you get paid for it. And, it's just this thing that, like, there's been a lot of rain and a lot of storms today, but everything is getting me closer to being able to see the rainbow. And I really feel like that was what the symbol, and what him saying that and me reading it, like, it all like made sense in that moment. And I'm right on that precipice. I'm right there. I'm so close. I am not that far away. And so, like, sometimes it just feels like you're being bombarded, right? You're in the middle of the storm. Things are coming at you. You weren't expecting. Like, I didn't wake up this morning thinking that I would take my car to the shop at all, and then end up taking the car to the shop, and then end up finding out it's a $3,400 repair, which means in a less than a month span, because, oh yeah, remember my battery died and something else had happened. So I spending literally almost $8,000 on an old 2000. I wouldn't have bought that car for that. It wouldn't have made sense. Like, even if I just went out to buy a car free and clear, so again, I say all this to say, I'm really grateful for the shift of the perspective. I'm grateful that these things are not crippling me, even though financially it's a bit of a struggle. Like, I, procrastinated and didn't take care of some of the things that I should have taken care of as far as my inheritances. And now it's gone back to the state, and I have to go fight with the state, not fight, but I have to, prove that they are entitled. I'm entitled to them, and provide all this documentation and notarization and all this stuff. And it's like, okay, I get it. I had my traumas. I, had family members who thought whatever they wanted to think, and, oh, she just wants money and all these things. And I wanted to prove to them this was so far from the truth. And I was so wanting their acceptance. I was so wanting to be seen and heard and loved that I was willing to hurt myself. And I put myself in a position now where I have to do a lot of extra work. I have to spend a lot of extra money just to do something, because I had this desire to prove something to somebody else. I valued what somebody else's opinion and judgment of me was more than mine. And the song that came to my mind today was The Facts of Life. So the theme song goes like this, and I may mess up a word or two. If you aren't aware, please Google it. Facts of Life, great 80s, I think it was just 80s show. But you take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. The facts of life. There's a time you got to grow and show you're growing. Now you know, and something about the facts of life. The facts of life. And something about the world doesn't always go as it seems, whatever, when we're living our dreams or something like this. But suddenly you figure out that the facts of life are all about you. And again, it's just been a lifetime of highs and lows. It was really exciting because when I was working on publishing last night's episode, I saw a version of me that was so happy, the one I was telling you about. And I was saying in there, I was running, and I just thought to myself, I'm really happy. I'm really happy. I was so happy for that girl, because I remember that day. I remember exactly where I was, right over there, running and looking, and I'm really happy. And now everything wasn't perfect in life. My relationship was in turmoil. My relationship with my daughter is always a roller coaster of emotions. There weren't things that were perfect, but there were all these beautiful things that were trumping this. And relationships that I was losing, but so much more I was gaining. And I was happy because I was figuring out who I was. I was having the courage to come on here and share everything that I used to hide from the world. Not for myself, not for me to just hear myself talk more about it and be like, oh, these things. No, because I really want to help other people. I want them to see and understand. There are days like mine where before this would cripple me, and I'd be like, why am I alive? Why am I even doing this? And I would feel overwhelmed by the amount of, right now personally, it's mostly financial things hitting me all at one time. But they can always be this way. It could be medical things hitting me all at one time. Like, there's so many different times in my life that it's been this barrage. But at the end of the day, I know that no matter what has happened, I have learned, I have improved, I'm better because of these things, and that there was growth. And sometimes, like today, there's pain in the growth, but then there's beauty. Like, I saw this rainbow. I was open to seeing this. I have never seen a rainbow reflection on the wall of the bathroom that way. I had to take multiple pictures because I was like, what? Like, I've never seen this. And I went back just recently. It's gone. It was there for a purpose. It was there to remind me of what my dear friend was saying to his wife, and in a way said to me, and was this beacon of hope in my time where I have a choice to lay down and get catatonic, grab for the Oreos and wine or whatever else it is, even though that would make me sick, like gives me a headache, whatever it is. Or I keep persevering and know that every no I get, every new quote I get brings me one step closer to where I'm supposed to be. And it's all a part of the journey. And I feel like it's going to make me feel really proud to be able to not only go to the gym, but now have this extra incentive that, like, not only am I choosing to go, like, I am so committed to this form of self-care to myself that I'm willing to pay for it. I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. And I had this privilege. I can't be mad at my dad. I had a privilege of him introducing me to the gym. And I had this privilege of him, me wanting to please him, me wanting to get his acceptance, that prompted me to go, that fell into this love and this beautiful relationship I have cultivated with the gym. I'm no longer an imposter in the gym. I never once feel like an imposter in there. Like, I sometimes feel like I own the place. Like, you know what? Like, I walk in and I feel at home. I always work to make sure I thank everyone in there. I'm always kind to the staff and the members, and I cultivate relationships with the people in the relaxation room and at the front desk. I know about their grandchildren. I know about the woman, like I said, one of Deanna, that is hard of hearing, and I still make time to give her a hug and smile and say thank you, and look how great the mirrors on the windows look, because I never see anyone else working and doing the things that she's doing to make sure that the space is clean and welcoming and inviting. And so, I made sure last night to send out a message to, the staff and let them know, and they're going to reach out sent a message to the vice president to share my compliments of her. And I appreciate that. Like, I think that everyone at the end of the day wants to be seen and heard and loved. And that's the basis of everything. My son has this one young man, and he's been streaming, right? And when he started, it was the family members in there with, alias names. That was me. Hi. And there was this one person that was in there, and he would sit in there with him for like 6 hours. And I remember feeling so grateful that one person had showed up for him, because he was putting himself out there. And, it's one thing for me to do, and he was doing this before I was, I believe. Yes, he was. And it's one thing, for me to finally have the courage to do it. But here he was doing this thing that I didn't have the courage to do. He was actually out there, and he wasn't taking the fact that day after day nobody was showing up as a reflection that he wasn't good enough, or that he wasn't liked, or he wasn't any of those things. He just kept showing up. And this one young man kept showing up with him. kept encouraging him to keep coming. He kept telling him, like, other people, like, come, you know, they call him, like, raids, like, come raid him. And so, like, yeah, I get it. He sometimes comes in and says some annoying things, and sometimes he comes in and acts very immature. He's young. He is my youngest son's age. And so I feel this, like, motherly, and again, like, through my own lens of having, like, rejection and having tough days and having, like, nobody ask. Like, I ask a lot of questions now because for so many years, nobody asked me anything. And I talk a lot and I share a lot because nobody ever asked me anything. And so they would often, you know, volunteer things about their lives, or I'd ask questions. And then that's where the story ended, you know, like even with Chris, it was like, how was your day? You know, and fine, good. And it would end there. And it was like, I was like a little kid, like waiting to hear, like, do you see me? Do you hear me? Like, do you love me? Like, ask how my day is. Like, I'm a person too. Like, sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad and sometimes it's just a day, right? But I'm here. And so I see this young man and he asks a lot of questions and he does some things, and I get it. Sometimes he says some things that, like, hey buddy, just don't say that, you know, like, and he goes around and he talks about him to other people, and most things are good. Majority of it is good. And sometimes he's telling too much information in my son's eyes. And, you know, some of the other people that come and watch now that he's grown to a much larger audience, you know, are like, get annoyed by him and say all these things. And it's just like, mama heart always hurts for him. And I just was, you know, today, like, sent a message and said, you know, this is your channel. This is your thing, you know, because he says, well, what if I came up on Glow Up Method and told you what to do with what you have to do? And, you know, and all this stuff. And I said, yeah, that's true. I said, but, you know, here's my perspective. Again, this is just mine. It doesn't mean your perspective is wrong. It's just at the end of the day, we all want to be seen, heard, and loved. We don't know what somebody else is going through. And I know that in today's world, loyalty is rare. And the fact that this person stood by you when you were nothing and came in day after day, hour after hour, and just made this time when you were very vulnerable a little bit easier because you weren't alone. Like, he has won my heart. Now that's mine. But that is a person to me that deserves your extra compassion, your extra loyalty, and your extra allegiance. And so, you know, I sent that message to my son because at the end of the day, that's what I think it is I think that these are the facts of life. Sometimes life is really good, and sometimes life is a little bit more challenging. And sometimes life is like this week, where it's filled with challenges, but you find the good in those challenges. And in that time, because you're able to see and look at things with a shifted perspective and a broader perspective, you realize these are the growing opportunities. That yes, they struggle. It's a struggle. And yes, they suck. And, you know, like I said, Chris feels responsible because he chose to leave, right? He did this. But again, at the same time, I'm pretty confident we would never have been, and I'll never say never, but I mean, honestly, it would have took something catastrophic to bring us to where we are right now. And maybe something catastrophic is happening. Like, he lives in a different place, but like, we just talked right now on the phone. We've talked a couple times on today, and I know I can lean on him, and I'm here to support him as well. And that, like, we're making plans and looking forward to seeing one another. And so that is a beautiful gift. And if it took this distance and it took a little bit of sacrifice and a little bit of struggle, well, that's okay. Not all roads are just smooth sailing. Some things are bumpy. But what if this ends up being the love that I always looked for, the love that I'd always sought? What if it was right here all along and I just didn't see it because of where I was in my own life and the way I was showing up? Because that's all I can control. And at the end of the day, what I can control is what I choose and how I choose to respond to what happens around me. At the end of the day, it's money, right? Like, yes, it makes life a lot easier. Yes, the more of it, the more we can travel and have great dinners and have, you know, beautiful things, right? Pay our bills. Let's get basics here. We can pay for our cars and we can pay for our roof and our shelter and food and all those things. But at the end of the day, what matters most is not the finances. It's not like we will get through those things. What matters most is knowing that you are seen, heard, and loved. And I want you to know I see you. And I'm so proud of you for persevering through your ups and downs. I'm so proud of you for choosing to show up for you, because that's where it starts. Self-care is not selfish. Caring for yourself, loving yourself, even in the midst of those challenging times, is the ultimate form of love. And when you love yourself, you're capable of giving and receiving the love that you deserve. So I am so proud of you. Remember today, please go out there. Number one, give yourself a big smile. Just pause there. Give yourself a big smile. Then give yourself a compliment. At least one. You got more, girl, let them roll. Or guy or whatever. Let them go. Spew them all out. You deserve it. You're beautiful. You are amazing. You are loved. You are just meant to be here at this time. You are this integral fabric in the life of this quilt of life that we are living in. And again, I will say, because I love to share and I love to make people, I love to see people happy. It does bring me happiness and joy. So that's why for so many years, me just accommodating everybody else was acceptable-ish. I love to see people smile, man. I love to hear laughter. If I can hear it in the distance or even see, like, it gives me this fuel and this energy. So go out there today, give somebody else a big smile, give them a compliment, and then you will see how they glow up and you glow up together. We are all glowing up as a life source. So I hope that you have an amazing day. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for tuning in. And you know what? Remember, this is all the frickin' facts of life. You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. And there's going to be a time you got to grow and show your whatevering. And that's the facts of life. So thank you. Bye.